Pisces season begins on Friday, February 18th and lasts until Sunday, March 20th. I'm here to tell you more and provide brief horoscopes for each sign. My name is Anastasia. For those of you new here, I'm a traditional Western astrologer. I use whole sign and I focus primarily on relationship, natal, and predictive astrology. There are links down below if you'd like to book a reading with me or follow me on Instagram. Please subscribe to my channel, leave me a like or a comment. I truly appreciate those. So before I dive in, wanted to let you know that Pisces season marks my Pisces season special. I'm doing 20% off natal and solar return readings. So check that out. You don't want to miss it. And that's specific for everyone born with their sun in Pisces during Pisces season. So let's talk about Pisces and overall significance of this transit, what we can expect with sun being in Pisces. First of all, Pisces is the sign ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of growth, abundance, hope, faith, all the good things, right? Like Jupiter in Pisces is yin, so very feminine. We have Jupiter in Sagittarius, that young energy, the active, the conquistador, going out there, spreading the knowledge, kind of like wildfire burning and expressing the wisdom in all directions, right? In Pisces, Jupiter is more yin. It's kind of receptive. Pisces, I've heard compared to a soup where you drop different things, different insights, and everything sort of blends together, right? If you make a soup, you hear like the tints, the hints of flavor, but it's hard to separate it. So Pisces has that energy of unification. Similar to Sagittarius, Sagittarius seeks the truth that Sagittarius later spreads to the world. Pisces also is about unification, but it's more that private, quiet, sit down alone or retreat and figure things out. And it's the opposite, right? Like Pisces is the opposite of Virgo. Sagittarius is the opposite of Gemini, signs ruled by Mercury. So Virgo and Gemini are breaking things down. They have that energy of like picking things apart, looking at it through different lenses. It's more scientific. In Pisces or Sag, you get that Jupiterian desire to bring it together, to come up with a synthesis, like what's the truth underneath it all, right? Yes, okay. Like, you know, human is made of blood and skin and all the tissue and water, whatever it might be, but like, who are we at the core level? Kind of our soul versus the matter of Virgo or Gemini. So it's a water sign, right? So there is an emotionality, ability to be in touch with emotions that comes with Pisces. It's a mutable sign, so it's highly adaptable. Pisces is the most mutable sign of them all because water takes shape of any container you put it in. Some people argue that Gemini could be the most mutable, but I think it's water because literally, you know, like it gets absorbed, it spreads around, it takes shape of the container. So there's that ability to adjust and move and get along with different people. The danger, of course, as always, is like losing self, losing that original identity that you've had. So we may deal with that a little bit during Pisces season. And it is, what's interesting also, it is the last sign of winter. So with Pisces energy, there's a bit of that hopefulness, the return of light, the excitement, the search for new beginnings, right? Like the dreamlike qualities of Pisces. There's that idea that something better is coming, and if we can only envision it, we can almost make it real. But because it's not quite spring yet, with that sign come also the dissatisfaction with the fact that it's not the spring yet. So there's that search for light and dissatisfaction with darkness. And in Pisces, in many Pisces, it kind of shows up, right? Like take Kurt Cobain, for example, such profound music, music that inspired so many people, but then at the same time, he grappled with inner darkness. And there's so many examples, but like Kurt Cobain just jumps to my mind immediately. So there's that duality that comes with Pisces. And finally, it's represented, speaking of just like, things associated with the sign of Pisces, it's represented by two fish, and fish that swim in the opposing directions, right? They're tied to each other, so they can never separate, but they can also find unity through the separation. But basically they represent those two fish, they represent coming down into the matter and going up into the spirit. And that's another place where the duality of Pisces shows up, in a sense that these are people who are quite attached, to material things. They have a body, so there's that tendency to, crave material things and sometimes maybe overdo it. But then there's also that spiritual side that is embodied in a lot of songs or compositions, poetry. Mr. Rogers was a Pisces, right? So there's kind of like this light and joy, but at the same time, so many of them sometimes struggle with addiction. So still that, search for light and getting stuck in the matter. And more than any signs, I think Pisces is dealing with those topics and trying to find unity there. And so many of them have that power to take their dreams and bring it into reality. Right now, during this Pisces season, it's a luckier Pisces season, I want to say, because Jupiter is in Pisces. Jupiter is in its home sign, giving us faith, encouraging us to pursue things that we truly believe in. So one of the things that you can expect on a collective level or individually is to be driven by faith more, to be driven by your beliefs and things that inspire and ignite the fire within you. You really want to make sure that you're not overdoing it with the material gains, right? Because of that whole try to get more, it tangles you more, and the gains are never quite complete, right? Like it's the human nature. The moment we get something, we're like, oh, but I want more. You're kind of like never satisfied. So pursue things that are less measurable. So as much as you can, tap into spirituality, tap into helping others, tap into that like inner satisfaction that comes from the job well done. Venus and Mars are still in Capricorn, and then on March 6th they switch into Aquarius. So even though we are driven by these high beliefs and we may feel a lot more in our feelings, there's still that rational romantic detachment, right? Like you're romantic and you're feeling a lot more, but you're able to pull back and think of it through a more conscious, serious lens. Another beautiful thing that comes with Pisces season, I think, is the stronger imagination, increased intuition. You will be able to read people and perceive things better. And imagination, of course, it's like the sign that's connected to dreams. And with that Aquarian and Capricorn energy, we actually have the power to make those dreams a reality. Watch out for the tendency to victimize yourself or see yourself as a victim. And there might also be a tendency to escape things, because if you feel like you're falling short, or if you're not quite where you envision yourself being, you may feel like running away from reality. And instead, try to bring reality forth through those small steps, which I think Capricorn and Aquarius energy later in Pisces season, Capricorn energy earlier on, will be helpful to get you there. Some of the important dates to note are, well, February 23rd, 24th is lovely vibes with Mars and Venus sextiling Neptune. You're more sensual, more sensitive, more empathetic, great for some kind of like volunteer work, helping, serving others. I'm super excited for the new moon in Pisces on March 2nd because it coincides with, it basically is at the same time as the Sun conjoins Jupiter, which is the moment of optimism and hope and wisdom. The new moon also sextiles Uranus, which creates that spark of progress and creative new beginnings, perhaps, because that's what Sun and Uranus are. So creativity, inspiration, encounters and conversations that inspire and push you forward. And there's also at the same time Mercury conjoins Saturn, so you have that ability to commit to your dreams, and you have the ability to think critically about your dreams. Hopefully it doesn't result in thinking too negatively. I think Jupiter will have the power to alleviate that. But from a spark of imagination, a beautiful fire can grow. So you want to listen to whatever happens in your life. Maybe you meet someone and you talk to them and you get inspired, you get this kernel of idea that you later water with all of this watery Pisces energy. And it blooms. All the flower metaphors. I think I'm just ready for spring in my mind. On March 6th, we have Venus and Mars enter Aquarius and conjoin in there. And this is the energy we had on February 16th. We're doing this second time now in the sign of Aquarius. And it's both passionate, but it's also kind of like passion for friendship, passion for social justice, passion for people coming together, like humanity getting better, improving the world. So whatever house Aquarius is in your chart, you may get inspired to pursue new things and draw the support through your social skills, draw the support through your progressive ideas. So it could be a lovely time to pursue fun, creative projects. Mercury enters Pisces on March 9th, and Mercury, there's going to be more energy in Pisces. Mercury in Pisces can be challenged because it's the sign of that soup where the facts get blurry, right? So you may forget to send an email, you may forget that you had plans with someone. So maybe lean a little bit into Virgo and get more organized, get things, like put them into your schedule. And we go off of intuition or we go off of perception, but sometimes that perception is hard to pin down or explain scientifically. So while we believe in it, other people might not quite understand where our notions come from. So be careful there. And then on March 18th, I'm also pretty excited about the full moon in Virgo. It is trining Pluto, so there's a sense of positive transformations, a sense of change, deeper realizations that you've gone through in December, January, a little bit of February, maybe releasing something that you're no longer need. And I'm, of course, going to cover this as the transits come around. So let's talk about each rising sign and just quickly cover what you might expect. For Aries rising, Pisces is the 12th house. So there's going to be a new moon conjunct Jupiter, sextile Uranus in your second house on March 2nd. So there's some kind of new beginnings to your faith, and that might be prompted by a financial change or some kind of loss that you may go through. Maybe, you experience a moment of enlightenment. Maybe you spend some time alone and you reconnect with yourself. This might actually be Pisces season, might be the time for you to get in touch with spiritual matters, get in touch with your faith, go to church if you're seeking support, or, whatever you believe in. Good time for therapy, good time for cleaning or like letting go of past traumas. So I think that early March can be highly beneficial for that, or even introducing some kind of spiritual practice into your life. If you feel like you're losing yourself in your friendship situations, right? Because Aries rising have Aquarius, Saturn in the 11th house. So, and there was a lot of action in your house of career, a lot of action in the house of friendships. So maybe right now you need like to retreat. It could be a lovely time to do yoga, to meditate, to travel somewhere on your own, and to explore your inner self, all the ways in which you may sabotage yourself or hold yourself back. For Taurus rising, Pisces is the 11th house. So there's going to be a new moon there on the 2nd. It's going to be aspecting your Uranus in the 1st, and Mars, basically Mars and Venus come together in your 10th house. So there's a lot of action that deals with self-expression, and I think Pisces season is more than any other season for you is about building healthy networks and finding support of other people. Perhaps you're trying to start a podcast. Who's your audience? How can you find any investors? Are you trying to start a business, right? Like, do you have a logo? Do you need to start your social media so you connect with people better? So there's some kind of sense that your social life is speeding up, you're connecting with people more, and you're ultimately finding people who maybe support that new version of you. Might be a lovely time, like already mentioned, to start that social media page, to increase your social media presence, and to also just finally take that leap, right? Like March 2nd, the new moon is conjunct Jupiter. What are you dreaming about? Where do you see yourself in a year or 2 or 5? And how can you make a plan? And who can you reach out to get there? For Gemini risings, this Pisces is your 10th house. So there's new beginnings in the sector of career. And, you know, I have a Gemini rising friend, and she's been playing with all these ideas of starting a podcast, of writing some kind of books. I mean, I know what kind of books, but like writing a book, you know. But at the same time, I think there's still some kind of fears, right? Like fears to let go, fears to take a leap, especially with Uranus being in the 12th house. So this new moon and Pisces season is your time to improve your career, to commit to something, and to let go of the tendency to put yourself down for not moving as quickly, right? Uranus in the 12th can just be like a moment of realization, or, you know, an astrologer friend telling you that it's okay to relax. Sometimes when you are silent, when you're not moving, those could be the most profound and deep insights. So you're focusing on your career, but I think you're also allowing yourself to relax and allowing yourself to take it easy, and maybe letting go of some of the ways in which you're blocking your growth or slowing yourself down. For Cancer rising, Pisces is the 9th house, so it's your sector of education. And Jupiter has been in your 9th house since December. It's going to stay there until May 10th. So you are experiencing a sense of renewal, both to your beliefs and to your knowledge. And maybe it's a great time to study something new. Maybe even if you're not a student anymore, if you're like older and you're done with school, maybe you expand your mind through, I don't know, watching a documentary, reading some fun book, like educating yourself. And I think the goal with the 9th house transits is to connect to something outside of you, like just kind of feel a sense of belonging. So if you're learning something, you're connecting to that knowledge that existed for a while. If you're traveling, which is another possibility with Pisces season for Cancer risings, you're connecting to the world and you're seeing that there's different people and different beliefs, and you know, you're like finding that sense of belonging in something larger. So a great time to improve some of your skills, you know, learn a foreign language, go on a date with someone foreign, and I think connect with people that maybe you're studying with. That's another possibility, because the new moon is going to sextile Uranus in your 11th house. For Leo risings, Pisces is the 8th house, so there's going to be a new moon in your 8th house conjunct Jupiter sextiling Uranus in the 10th house. So 8th house deals with finances that you owe to other people, or finances that are owed to you. So it might be the good time to file your taxes, to reach out to clients who owe you money, or to pay off your taxes and also pay off any debts. So Sun might just like naturally draw your attention to, hey, you know, this is my debt. How can I take care of it? Sun can improve your partner's finances because it's money other people share with us. So maybe there's something happening with their resources and you get a bonus, right? A client I had just yesterday, her husband found out that he inherited some money from his accountant, and she's a Leo rising. And I'm like, okay, what a great example of like, you know, money coming to you from other resources. And you want to start any professional collaborations, or it would be a lovely time to think of who has things, who has resources, who has contacts that can be beneficial for you. Another lovely thing with 8th house transits is connecting with your inner being, you know, dealing with any fears, any psychological blocks, any past traumas that you maybe haven't released, because the sun is a very soft and it's like warm energy. So it's not going to be forceful, but it might encourage you to start therapy or to talk to a friend or to ask someone for help. For Virgo risings, Pisces is the 7th house. So there's new beginnings in your relationships. Maybe you're signing a contract and starting a business with someone. Perhaps you are committing to dating more, right? Just with like Virgo rising, Capricorn is your 5th house. Venus was retrograde in the 5th house. You may have experienced some kind of challenging relationship events. Maybe you had to let go of a relationship, or you had to face some truths about the ways in which you know, limit yourself or hold on to things that aren't healthy, or even patterns you have in your existing relationships that aren't worth your time, or just, yeah, like I feel like having that much action in the 5th should have encouraged you to prioritize fun and joy. And so having the sun being your 7th house will encourage you to be more sensitive to your partner and maybe seek a partner who's more sensitive. It can definitely bring a new person into your life who's both like solar, good at drawing attention, generous, kind, big personality, but at the same time kind of soft and sensitive. Maybe they're a teacher, like a kid's teacher or something. Let me know if this resonates, if you feel ready for new beginnings, Virgo risings, in the comments below. Libra risings, Pisces is your 6th house. It's the place of health. It's the place of service, work, sacrifice. So not the funnest place, right? But it's a lovely time with the sun being here. Mercury comes in on the 9th. It's a lovely time to do good things for your health. Jupiter encourages you to take better care of your body. So schedule that well visit, go for your annual checkup, get your eyesight checked, you know, figure out how can you improve your diet. Maybe it's time to invest in some kind of HelloFresh subscription. Maybe I should, as the Libra rising, do that. How can you know, like even exercising, like I personally have been exercising a lot, but I feel like now I'm dealing with like some back pains. So trying to find balance. That's another thing too, with Jupiter being in the 6th house. Jupiter can make you feel like Jupiter can make you push yourself too far and too quickly, right? So you want to figure out a healthy balance. Think about organizing your space, think about cleaning your space, letting go of some things. New moon in the 6th house on March 2nd can bring new beginnings when it comes to your health. It can also bring new work projects. Like there might be a lot of things that you're tackling at the moment. For some of you, maybe you're going to get a pet. You know, that's definitely a possibility with the 6th house new moon. Good time to improve your everyday life, because 6th house deals with building blocks. Everything that you do and things that you don't do. And this is like, you know, you need to sit down and figure out and maybe put the puzzle pieces together to make a prettier picture. For Scorpio risings, Pisces is the 5th house. So there's a lot of focus on your sector of romance, creativity, and children. And if you are a Scorpio rising and you've been debating whether to have kids or not to have kids, this might be the time you figure it out. You might naturally be spending a lot more time with children, or, you know, trying to have a child. Lots of fun action is coming your way. I think new moon in the 5th house conjunct Jupiter on March 2nd can definitely bring pregnancy with it. it doesn't necessarily, it's not like immediate right away, but it might be something that in the next 6 months, while this new moon takes time to bloom, maybe you get pregnant then. A lovely time to connect with your inner child. If you don't have any plans to be a parent, connect with your inner child, add more fun into your life, go on exciting adventures, schedule fun dates, and practice things that you enjoyed doing as a kid, right? If you feel like there's not a whole ton of joy, or if you're asking yourself all these deep questions, whether to have kids or not to have kids, maybe you can just like take a break and just be in the moment and connect with yourself. For Sag risings, Pisces is the 4th house, so a lot of action in the home. Maybe you're moving, maybe you're expanding your home, doing any renovation projects, buying a home. There's a lot of possible new things. Like for Sag risings, if you have considered investing into real estate, this is like, until May 10th is a really great time. But on March 2nd, we have a new moon in Pisces conjunct Jupiter. It sextiles Uranus in your 6th house. So it feels like some kind of expansion to the home or expansion to the family as well. It's a possibility that changes are happening to your family members. Maybe you're moving in with your family. Maybe they're moving in with you. A good time to, like I said, buy or sell a property. It might also just be a time where you spend more time in the home. And outwardly, many people may not see you, but like the home is where a lot of action happens, right? Like you get more guests, more family members come by, and maybe you're working on some kind of project, but it's happening behind the scenes, not in front of other people. For Capricorn risings, Pisces is the 3rd house. So Cap risings have had a lot of action in their house of identity. There's been a lot of like personal projects, maybe you felt a burst of energy. And so when the sun shifts into the 3rd house, of course, Venus and Mars still stay together in your house of money. I think you're thinking about your ideas and your knowledge and your skills and how can you monetize them. Or you may find yourself just being busier, which, I mean, you've already been busy, I think, but like maybe you're getting even busier. Maybe there's more phone calls. Maybe there's more meetings. Maybe you're just like shuffling around, moving from one part of town to another, or from one side of the country to another. It's 3rd house is like short trips, so they're not likely going to be international. But it might be a busier time, and because the sun encourages you to improve things, this might be the time when you streamline your schedule, connect with people that truly excite you, write down your ideas because your mind might be busier, there might be more exciting things that you're brainstorming and you want to make sure you present them or save them, have like a piece of pen and paper nearby. Maybe you're connecting with your siblings. Sun coming into Pisces might be a great time to, spend more time with people that you love, family members. And a great time to invest into technology, to take care of any paperwork, any kind of things that you like, any relationship with neighbors, any commitments you have to your neighbors, and study. Like studying is also a really good thing for Capricorn risings. Improving your skills somehow. It doesn't have to be an official study, but maybe you watch a YouTube video and you make a new recipe. Because it's a very like, be in your neighborhood, be busy, but not necessarily like a large world studying. More like smaller skills, applied knowledge. For Aqua risings, Pisces is the 2nd house, so the sun warms up your sector of money making. And we have that conjunction of Venus and Mars in your 1st house. So you are brainstorming ways to make money. Maybe you're asking for more money and you're like getting more confidence, a boost of confidence from that Venus and Mars conjunction on March 6th. Lovely time, I think, to present any ideas, to pay off any debts, or to ask people to help you pay off any debts. There might be a bonus coming your way. There might be a new opportunity, a personal project. I think like with that action in your 1st house, It's something that you feel excited about. And it may involve physical things, like, maybe becoming like a yoga teacher or a Reiki practitioner, right? Because it's Venus, Mars, it's charm, elegance, beauty together with action and passion. You can expect to feel better about yourself. And I think you're connecting with what you're valuing more. So something to focus on this Pisces season is what makes you excited, right? Like what makes you happy. And finally, Pisces rising. Pisces is your first house, so you get the sun in your first house of identity. You will get a chance to be in the spotlight more. Maybe Aquarius season, obviously Capricorn would have been your 11th house, so a lot of actions connected to your hopes and dreams. But Aquarius season could have also been the time when you've pulled back and like maybe hibernated for a little bit, or took a moment to figure out what is it that you want to be doing and what direction you want to put your energy towards, right? Like what path you want to pursue. So now with the new moon in your first house on March 2nd, Venus and Mars come together in your 12th house. I think you're ready to present your ideas and to speak them into the world, especially after March 9th, when Mercury goes into your first house. You may be ready to announce your new projects, right? Like if you are becoming a teacher, if you are becoming a real estate agent, whatever it is might be, you will be in the spotlight. And you're also focusing a lot on building yourself up and being that source of light, I think, for a lot of people, and like being seen by people, because the sun is in the first, Jupiter is in the first, right? Mercury comes in the first. Like it's all about you. Your light needs to be seen, and people will enjoy seeing your light. So pursue projects and things in relationships that make you feel empowered and valued and seen. So this is all I have. Have a great Pisces season. Let me know in the comments below if you have any ideas for the videos from me, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye, guys.